So here's one theory. They were abducted here.
Right.
I can't even imagine what has been going through her mind this whole time for 3 decades, waiting for any clue as to what happened to her older brother and her cousin. This has to be so difficult for her every single day. Okay, where is it? Where is this place? I think we're almost there.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Louis.
I really loved my brother. He was always with me. And I guess I was lucky that day because I wasn't with him. Yeah.
If they didn't run away, we don't think the relic car. What about somebody abducting them? But why would somebody abduct 2 kids at the same time?
Hey everyone, I'm Crystal. I was a TV news reporter and anchor for more than 15 years, covering stories of remarkable people, tragedies that turned into heartbreak, and stories that are now part of history. But there are some stories that just stick with you.
How many missing persons cases do you believe you have?
Every year, tens of thousands of people are listed as missing.
Can you see how we've come so far?
So I called in the expertise of my longtime friend, retired detective, now private investigator Louis.
No, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. There's no evidence behind it.
Together, we're diving into cases that sit untouched for years.
Like maybe they missed something. I feel they focused too much on him.
I think so.
And it may not have been him the whole time.
And hitting the road.
All right, you ready? Farmington, here we come.
Along the way, we'll talk to those left behind.
She was wonderful. She was my older sister.
Something feels missing.
Just let her home.
Something's not right.
And to those who were part of the investigation.
I mean, the same dog found burnt remains.
All in hopes of uncovering new details.
He has never been interviewed by police.
That's the person that I think did it.
To give families some closure as we go beyond the case.
Okay, and I go all the way to K.
And 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Case. I'm Crystal.
Hello, everybody. I'm Louis.
And we are in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're investigating a really heartbreaking case this go around. We are looking into the disappearance of 11-year-old Billy Sena and his cousin, 9-year-old Mary Lou.
The case has been open since 1979.
Now, what makes this case even more difficult, as I said, they're cousins, their moms are sisters, and the mom of Mary Lou was the last one to see both of them. They were actually hanging out with her that morning, eating breakfast, playing around the house, and Billy's mom was the one that was at work, so she had to come home to find out that the kids were nowhere to be found.
The cousins were last seen riding their bikes near their home, near a post office here in Albuquerque. When the children went missing, there was an immediate outpour from their school, especially their school, Truman Middle School. They put out missing posters for these 2 kids.
And unfortunately, there was no clue as to what happened to them.
That's right.
But there is one person who's been searching and been really active in looking for both of the kids, and that is the sister of Billy. There have been television stations that have interviewed her. She's been interviewed by local newspapers. Here's what she told one of the reporters. My life has changed an awful lot. It's just empty without him. I pray that I see him again alive.
Here we are 30 years later. We're going to digest this case. We're going to pick it apart. We're going to go and look at every one of their theories, law enforcement's theories, of this open case.
Yeah, and there's so many of them. Some of them bizarre, some of them a little bit more believable. And we're going to interview a lot of the people that police interviewed.
Guess what? We have found Sarah, which is Billy's sister. We should go talk with her.
We are. We're going to go talk to her, and we're going to take you to the last place they were seen. Let's get going.
Let's go.
I've been trying to look for these things to hold on to.
Rolling.
All right, here we go.
Better days with you. Hold on to me tight as we dive into the blue.
Okay, where is it? Where is this place? Where's her apartment?
Do we keep going straight? Okay, keep going straight. 505 right here.
Apartment number 1. Okay, here we go. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for talking to us. Hi, I'm Crystal. Nice to meet you. How are you guys today? Good, good.
You want to go inside? You want to hear?
Yeah, no, we'll go inside. We'll go inside and we'll talk to you, and that way we could get his story out and Mary Lou's.
Okay.
Let's go in.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm Luis Carlos.
Ernie, how you doing?
How are you, ma'am?
Sarah, how you
Hi,
doing?
Sarah. I'm Luis.
I'll be just right here. You do it right here.
So, do you remember a lot from that day?
I remember a lot. A lot of the stories have been changed up somehow. I don't know why.
You've done so many interviews with local media. You're like, I need to know what happened.
I would love to know. I mean, without my brother, I feel, without him being in my life, my life has gone on a downhill spiral because of not having my brother there. I'm sorry. My name is Sarah Garcia. Billy's my brother.
Tell me about Billy and what happened the day that he disappeared.
Okay. My mom left me and my brother at Phyllis, my auntie, for the weekend. And I never met my father before, and my father pulled up, and I got scared and I hid. And then they said, he wants to meet you. When my mom pulled up, she said, okay, well, now you met your daughter. So he wanted to take me for the weekend for the fair. And my brother did ask to go. He said, not this time.
What did you see from your aunt, from your mom?
I mean, I got back from the state fair that weekend. My mom everybody already knew Billy was gone. They had already reported him and everything, and searched for him. And my mom went to the fair also, looking for him. Maybe that him and Mary Lou had gone to the fair.
And they didn't go?
No.
That you guys know, right?
That we know, yeah. But there was also witnesses. There was witnesses. They were riding bikes broad daylight on Mountain Road. There was a blue van that pulled you over. I mean, that still could be the family. But across the street, there was a chili market. They witnessed everything. They didn't realize it was a kidnapping until the bikes were left behind.
The person in that blue van, do you think it's somebody you know?
I don't know.
Mike Cordova. Just talking about him a little bit.
Okay.
Is that okay? How long was you with your mom?
I guess most of my baby years, you know. The only years I really remember are maybe like from 4 up. Okay, and I think I was about till 8 years old when she finally decided to get up and leave him. It was no sooner than she left him that all this happened too. Yeah. Honestly, that's a big one in my book because when I was a kid, I mean, I've been washing dishes since I was 3 years old, okay? And they're all like, Sarah's always doing dishes. Why don't you wash dishes, Billy? And Billy said, dishes are for girls. He put a dress on my brother. I mean, he used to fight with my brother all the time, and he beat up my mom. My brother used to stand up and say, you know, don't hit my mom, and they just hated each other. So I really think that Mike also is a great possibility.
You mentioned that he protected you when it came to Michael Cordova and the pot plant. What happened?
He got whooped with a cord. It's not that he protected me. He didn't even know himself at that moment that I'm the one who gave the plant away. He didn't stick up for me or nothing. Nobody knew that I gave it away. Mike came home and automatically assumed Billy gave it away because Billy was older. And I never got to, they didn't even ask me, did I do it, did I know anything? They just said, she don't know. They just, you know what I mean? And Billy's older, so they figured he knew what pot was, and he automatically got the whooping. And like I said, I wanted to speak up, but when I saw him get mad at Billy, I was like, oh, I'm not going to stick my nose in there. Right. Yeah, because I thought I was going to get beat up.
Because that was one of the theories,
yeah,
that he may have done something to him because of the pot plant.
Because of the pot plant, yeah. Exactly.
And Billy knew he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But he didn't say he didn't do it, right?
He said he didn't do it a bunch of times. Yeah, definitely.
And he didn't believe him?
And he didn't believe him, and I couldn't stick up for him because I was too scared that I'm going to get beat up too.
If Billy and Mary Lou are alive and they ran off and they're out there living somewhere, what would you tell them?
I would love to have Billy back in my life and be his sister, yeah. And Mary Lou, of course, but I mean, I'm sorry to say it the way I never got to get close to her I don't have the love for her the way I love my brother. I know she's my cousin, there's love there, but I really loved my brother. He was always with me. And I guess I was lucky that day because I wasn't with him. Yeah.
Do you wish you would have told him something that day?
Yeah, but I was sorry that I never spoke up when Mike beat him for the weed. It was my fault.
What'd you do with it? You said
I brought 2 friends in the house, and they're like, damn, you got all kinds of weed plants. We had a greenhouse, weed plants growing up to the ceiling, and Mike says they're gonna be roses, and water the plants when I tell you. And here I am thinking they're gonna be roses, and they're like, that's weed. I'm like, what's weed? And he says, do you ever see your mom here rolling stuff and smoking? And I guess, you know. And he said, well, that's weed. And I said, no, they're roses. Anyways, but around the house, we had just little plants. That's all they wanted, was one little plant. I said, go ahead. We got a lot of them. You know, they took it when Mike got home. I mean, I was already arguing with Billy, and he assumed Billy knew when Billy took it. And I wanted to say, hey, no, I did it. But I seen him getting yelled at and getting hit. I said, well, I'm not getting hit. Yeah, so I backed down.
After all this time, who do you think did it? What do you think happened?
Give me a second here. I really, really have a big thing about my uncles, you know, because they were perverts, you know.
If they did take them, because that's your I don't want to say your theory, that's what you think may have happened just because of the environment.
I've had almost every one of my uncles when I'm a little kid. This is why I go to the part that they're perverts. I'm lucky because I've had give me hugs and put their hands in places they shouldn't be, you know, so yeah, there's a great possibility.
And what do you think they did with him?
I think they took him out somewhere, maybe they had a spot way out in the woods, the mountains, whatever, and maybe raped them and buried them, killed them.
You know, I have to just, you know, just ask if they ran away after all this time, how come they haven't come forward?
That's why we had it checked. I don't know who my mom went to have it checked. She says she has the social security numbers. If Billy ran away, he's allowed to either find his, I don't know how you would get your social security number. I know if I lost mine, I would go to the building to get it. So we've looked into that, and it's never been used.
How hard is it to not really know who might be the bad person?
Yeah, it's really hard, you know. Like I said, I would like to put some closure on it. You know, if there's a gravesite or somewhere you find bones, you know, even if they're alive, that'd be even great too. You know, that God would bring them back into my life.
What do I say if all I thought I wanted went running away? One deep breath out, one deep breath in, again, again, again. I don't wanna give up on us someday. Dreaming that one day it won't just be a dream anymore.
I can't even imagine what has been going through her mind this whole time for 3 decades, waiting for any kind of clue as to what happened to her older brother and her cousin. This has to be so difficult for her every single day.
We know the core of the case. We know that, you know, her dad was not in her life. And this one day, out of nowhere, he shows up, meets his daughter, takes her to the state fair, and that's her involvement at the time. Then she left.
Well, that was her ticket to potentially surviving this. I call it the perfect storm. These kids may have been watched by somebody before. Maybe they were already thinking about doing something to these kids, but it was a perfect storm. Certain people were not there at certain times, and it allowed this horrible thing to take place.
All right. So where are we going?
I think our first stop needs to be where the kids went missing.
Their house?
Yeah, right near their house. Well, there's the intersection by a postal office where some witnesses even said that they saw both Mary Lou and Billy hanging out near that post office, riding their bicycles. But their house, where they lived, they grew up in, is not too far from that intersection.
Right. Also near the railroad station where they have suspected of disappearing from, that they might have jumped into a railroad cart.
Let's talk about those theories, because there's been several, right?
Right.
So the theory that they were abducted,
Yes.
theory that they ran away,
Yes.
and this bizarre theory that they jumped into a rail car, possibly got trapped inside, and that's how they just vanished. That just seems not likely.
There's 323. It's the house. It's a parking lot that.
And this is where they were last seen, was right
Yes.
here in this intersection.
Yes.
Martinez down here in Albuquerque.
See, there's a post office.
This group here.
The chili
that sells
place?
chili, yeah. They're right across the street from where the kids were last seen.
Yep. They've been here forever. Family
According to
business.
Sarah, you know, she believes they had to have seen something.
Yep.
And they didn't realize they saw something.
So what do you want to do first? Talk to them, or do you want to go in front of the house?
Let's go talk to them.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Hi, how are you?
Sí, ándele pues. Nosotros, ¿su esposo cómo se llama?
Francisco.
¿Y usted se llama?
Socorro.
Socorro, me llamo Luis Carlos.
Luis Carlos.
Este es Cristóbal Gutiérrez.
¿Cómo está?
Los niños, él tenía 11 años y ella tenía 9 años cuando se desaparecieron. Well, they took it over in 84.
Yeah.
So he said,
Postal Service put up.
he said 3 to 5 years after he was here. So the post office was already up.
No creo que les pueda ayudar tanto.
No.
porque Tiene 103 años.
The lady that's still alive, she's 103 years old.
Oh my goodness.
No, ya.
Muchas gracias.
So here we are. This is the last intersection where really anyone has reported that they saw Billy or Mary Lou right in front of the Postal Service. Back in 1979, though, likely of anyone having an actual camera here, a surveillance camera, slim to none.
Talking to Sarah, she mentioned that the bikes the kids were riding were left right here in front of the post office, and possibly somebody from the business, the chili roasting business, knew something about it. It's a dead end.
Look how much traffic there is already. Like, would somebody? There had to have been somebody
There
that
had to have been
saw
somebody.
something. So here's one theory: they were abducted here.
Right.
And I'm assuming, since we have not seen evidence of bikes, that somebody took their bikes with them, right? Second theory, though, or another theory, is that they went up the road here to the railroad tracks.
Yes. The first theory of them being abducted on their bikes, it's kind of hard to take 2 kids on their bikes. You know, much less one on a bike with the bikes.
Right.
I say we explore the second theory and go check out the tracks.
So here we are on the railroad tracks. This is one of the theories, that Billy and Mary Lou came here, just a couple of blocks away from their home.
That's right.
And possibly got locked into a boxcar.
No, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. There's no evidence behind it. You know, if they, let's say that they went in to play in a boxcar. You know, the bikes might have been left out here. Who throws the bikes in a boxcar? Another theory was that they went in, right, and the doors were shut. Well, those doors are not automatic.
And they're heavy.
And they're heavy.
Those doors are so heavy. I get it. You know, Billy was 11 at the time. He was in middle school. I don't know if an 11-year-old would have been able to close that.
If it's a boxcar, you know, yeah, you can get in it, absolutely, but it takes some strength to close those metal doors.
Yeah. But they did talk extensively. Police did with someone with the railroad.
That's right.
To even find out if that was even plausible. If they got stuck in there, they would have had to end up somewhere, right, and somebody would have found them.
Right. So let's work on that theory. Let's say that the kids, they rode their bikes here, and they found an empty boxcar either way, either side of the road, right? And they left their bikes, and they got into play. Well, first again, where are the bikes?
Right.
And the fact that railroad police was immediately involved, if they would have gone inside the boxcar, even with the bikes, that train had to stop somewhere. And I know for a fact, according to the police report, that they put a bolo out, which is a be on the lookout. And this was one of the theories that was immediately
debunked.
In my view, discarded.
Yeah.
It's trash. No way.
Heart rush, head flush. It's like jumping into the lake at night.
So I still have this innate feeling deep in my core that comes from everything that I've done working these cases, that the kids, those Sena kids, are still in that house. That's what I believe.
Hi, Elaine, can you hear us?
Okay.
We want to thank you really, truly for talking with us. I know we're talking about when your dogs went in. Did your dogs get any hit when they went in to go search the basement?
What seemed to happen in 2004 was that the dogs went in there and had a reaction to being there, but could not pinpoint the location of where the scent was coming from. So I think that's when either I brought down another dog or something like that, and we had that same reaction.
Elaine, you said that you used sizzle?
Sizzle.
How was she trained to notify you of an interest?
So, as an example, the Pueblo, which I don't remember which one it was now, where we found, they asked us, they thought that we were going to find a body because this guy got out of prison, killed his mother, used the Indian check or whatever they did, and they knew she was gone. He'd scrubbed his house with bleach. So they were pretty sure they wanted to find, her. And so I'm searching, and my dog comes there's no animals at this time, but there was some like horse manure or something like that. And she comes to the pile and she looks at it and she looks at me and goes, yep, it's here. You get this reaction like, give me my treat, give me my ball, I found what I'm supposed to find. And there was this ashes. So the indication is that it's different for each dog. For Zoe, she would lay down and wait to get her ball. For Sizzle, when she was half lab, she's like, okay, feed me now. Give me my treat. I found it, it's here, give me my treat. So it's usually a very definite change in behavior, and they've been trained to expect a reward because that's the odor that they found. And she had been pretty successful in other cases too, with finding stuff where I'm just like, I have no idea why.
Remember in this case for Mary Lou and Billy Sena, if you told them that you found that your dog alerted you to at least 1 or 2 locations on that property?
You mean in 2011?
Either one, 2004 or 2011.
I explained to them, I'm absolutely sure that we had this change in behavior with my dog, brought another dog down. It had a change in behavior too, similar. And both of us are looking at each other like, well, okay, where can we go from here with this change of behavior? Because it wasn't able to at that time to follow up, on what was going on. We did as much as we could. But then when I had Zoe there in 2011, I was able to stuff her in the crawl space a little bit. It was pretty hard to follow up the first time in there because of the dirt and just the area. So I mean, there's no way that you can dig up whatever you might think would be there. There'd been, I don't know what had happened. I think the house had been remodeled a little bit and there was some stuff done to the basement too. But the little problem with her search is we had so many distractions. We had dogs barking. We had people all over the place. We had this camera on her. I mean, so she worked, but that's a lot of no quiet time to figure out what's going on too. So I mentioned, I'm pretty sure to them, I said I'd come back again and take more time to do it, but now we're at 2011 instead of 1979. So
now I know you mentioned that obviously there's no way to really know what they could have done or didn't do in 79 because it wasn't done,
right?
But implying that they were there, obviously police went back to the property in 2004. So something must have brought them back to that property.
That was that woman that owned this house, and she was calling a lot, and they felt they needed to do something.
There's a house. Should we cross?
Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna cross. How you doing? My name's Luis Carlos. Oh, I didn't mean to take you away from it.
Would you be willing to talk to us just about the house and what you've heard so much about Billy and Mary Lou?
I never knew.
No?
I never knew.
What have you heard about them so far?
Nothing. When we bought the house, that's all we knew.
Yeah.
Two children that disappeared from there.
Yeah.
2 years ago, too, also some
right.
FBI came and something and all that stuff.
Yeah.
My wife was still alive then.
Right.
So that's been...
That's one of the other things we would like to talk to you about, Mr. was the information that we got, what your wife shared with you about her dreams and hearing stuff around the house.
No, they didn't even know there was a basement. When they came in, they discovered there was a basement.
Wow, really?
Wow. Yeah.
And whatever you remember, if you don't, that's fine. But whatever you remember about your wife,
Well,
what she had said, and
that's all I can tell you. She would have, but had a lot. Like she would see the children across the room.
Yeah.
Right.
And things, and
right.
She worked at night. She came home at 1 in the morning.
I think like we're down to who we should be talking to next.
The kids, those Sena kids, are still in that house. That's what I believe.
How long after someone's been buried can your dogs still pinpoint potential remains? How long
Well,
after?
so much of it's going to depend on the ground.
We had this, this additional new idea that they might have been part of this child pornography ring within the family and taken up to the Sandia Mountains. And more importantly, let's talk about Mike Korwa. Let's keep going on your theories.
Let's go.
This is number 8. This is number 8.
This
yes?
was the neighbor. This is the big one. Yes.
It eats at me because maybe I know who did it. Maybe that guy that did come to our door was the person who took them, and God knows what he did with them.
We promised you that we would bring something to you. Whatever we found, whatever we discovered, we were going to bring it to you. So we did another interview. Here's a sketch that he drew.